Listen to the rain. It is not a storm. It is not a violent downpour that shakes the trees and floods the rivers. It is a steady, gray, relentless rain. It taps against the tiled roof of the castle keep. Tip, tap. Tip, tap. It is the sound of the world crying without emotion. You are kneeling on the wooden floor of the main hall. The wood is polished, smooth and cold against your knees. You have knelt here 1,000 times before. You have knelt here to receive orders. You have knelt here to receive rewards. You have knelt here to offer your life to your Lord. But today, you are kneeling for the last time. Raise your head slowly. Look around you. The hall is empty. The silk screens, usually painted with tigers and dragons, look dull in the fading light. The air smells of old incense and damp timber. There is a heaviness in the room, a pressure that pushes down on your shoulders. Your Lord is gone. Perhaps he fell in battle, his head taken by an enemy general. Perhaps he fell out of favor with the shogun, ordered to commit seppuku to save his family's honor. Or perhaps he simply died of a fever, leaving no heir, no successor, no future. It does not matter how it happened. It only matters that it is over. The clan is dissolved. The banner is lowered. The fire is extinguished. You hear the official reading the decree. His voice is dry, monotone, like the rustling of dead leaves. He tells you that the domain is confiscated. He tells you that the retainers are dismissed. He tells you that you are free to go. Free. It is a strange word. In this world, freedom is not a gift, it is a curse. To be a samurai is to serve. The word itself, saburao, means to serve. Your entire existence, from the moment you were born, was defined by who you belonged to. Your identity was the crest on your sleeve. Your purpose was the sword at your hip. Your life was a line drawn from your Lord's will to your hand. Now that line is cut. You stand up. Your joints crack in the quiet room. You feel lightheaded, a strange sensation of floating. You walk to the entrance. You slide your feet into your sandals. You step out onto the gravel of the courtyard. The rain hits your face. It is cold. It runs down your neck, soaking into your formal robes. You do not wipe it away. You just stand there, looking at the stone walls that have protected you for your entire life. You reach up to your shoulder. You feel the fabric of your kamishimo, the winged vest of the samurai. It bears the crest of the clan. A flower? A geometric diamond? A hawk's feather? It doesn't matter anymore. It is just a shape. It is just embroidery. You realize, with a sick feeling in your stomach, that you are naked, not physically, but spiritually. You have no name. You have no rank. You have no salary of rice to feed your family. You are no longer a retainer. You are no longer a guardian. You are a Ronin. Do you know what that word means? Ro, a wave. Nin, a man. A wave man. It sounds poetic, doesn't it? It sounds romantic. Like a wanderer drifting freely on the ocean, unbound by the laws of the land. But the ocean is cruel. The ocean is cold. And a wave has no home. A wave crashes against the rocks and breaks apart, disappearing into the foam. A wave exists only to move, until it dissolves into nothingness. That is your life now. You adjust the two swords at your belt, the katana, the long sword, the wakizashi, the short sword. They are the soul of the samurai. They are works of art, forged in fire, folded 1,000 times, sharp enough to cut through floating silk. They used to feel like badges of honor. They used to feel like wings that lifted you above the common man. Now, as you take your first step toward the great wooden gate of the castle, they feel heavy. They drag at your waist. They are 2 bars of iron that you must carry, useless and burdensome. You walk through the gate. The guards do not bow to you. They do not look at you. They stare straight ahead, as if you are already a ghost. The heavy wooden doors creak shut behind you. Boom. The sound echoes in your chest. It is the sound of a book closing. It is the sound of a coffin lid falling. You are on the outside now. The road ahead is muddy. It winds down the hill, away from the clean, orderly district of the samurai, down toward the chaotic, noisy, dirty city of the commoners. The rain falls harder. The fog rolls in, obscuring the path. Take a breath. Taste the damp air. It tastes of smoke and soil. This is not a story of battles. This is not a story of glory. This is not a story where you save the village and regain your honor. This is a story of the slow, quiet erosion of a soul. This is the story of how a man becomes a shadow. Welcome to the drift. You are walking. Put one foot in front of the other. Step, step, step. The wooden teeth of your gaita sandals bite into the wet earth. It is a specific sound, a dull, hollow clack that is immediately swallowed by the mud. It is the rhythm of departure. You do not look back. To look back is to show regret, and a samurai does not show regret. You keep your eyes fixed on the horizon, on the gray line where the sky meets the thatched roofs of the town below. You are leaving the Yamanote, the high city. This is where the air is clean. This is where the streets are paved with stone and swept every morning. This is where the walls are white plaster, pristine and silent. It is a world of order, a world of straight lines and clear rules. But you don't belong there anymore. As you descend the slope, the atmosphere changes. The air grows thicker. It smells of wood smoke, of pickling brine, of unwashed bodies and wet dogs. You are entering the Shitamachi, the low city, the town of the commoners. The streets here are narrow and winding. The houses lean against each other like drunkards seeking support. There is noise everywhere. Peddlers shouting their wares, children screaming, the clanging of a blacksmith's hammer. In the past, when you walked these streets, you were a god. People would see the crest on your chest and the swords at your waist. They would scatter. They would bow low, pressing their foreheads into the dirt until you passed. You were the authority. You were the law. But today, the crowd does not part. They see you, yes. They see the swords. But they also see the frayed hem of your hakama. They see the lack of servants walking behind you. They see the slump in your shoulders. They know. A merchant pushing a cart of radishes brushes past you. He does not apologize. He does not bow. He simply grunts and keeps moving. A group of laborers, laughing and drinking cheap sake, look at you with eyes that hold no fear, only curiosity, or perhaps pity. You feel a flash of anger. The old instinct rises in your blood. The instinct to draw your blade, to demand respect, to cut down the disrespect. Your hand twitches toward the hilt of your katana. The shark-skin grip feels cold and familiar under your thumb. But you stop. Who are you to demand respect? You represent no one. You are not protecting a lord's honor anymore. If you draw your sword now, you are just a murderer. You are just a thug with a sharp piece of steel. So you let your hand fall. You swallow the anger. It tastes bitter, like bile. You keep walking. The weight of the daisho, the pair of swords, feels different now. For years they were extensions of your body. They were your soul. You slept with them. You cleaned them. You worshipped them. They were weightless because they were part of you. Now they are heavy. You can feel the physical drag on your obi sash. The long sword, the katana, pulls at your left hip. The short sword, the wakizashi, digs into your ribs. They are two anchors made of iron and lacquer, dragging you down into the mud. You wonder, for the first time, if you should sell them. The thought is a blasphemy. It makes you nauseous. A samurai without his swords is not a man. He is a husk. But you also know the truth. You cannot eat steel. You cannot trade honor for a bowl of rice. You reach the edge of the city. The houses thin out. The road stretches ahead, winding through rice paddies and bamboo groves. Where are you going? To the capital, Edo? To Osaka? To a mountain shrine? It doesn't matter. There is no destination. There is only the road. The rain has stopped, leaving the world damp and dripping. The water drips from the pine trees. Plip, plop. You adjust the straw hat on your head. You pull your cloak tighter against the chill. You are alone. The silence inside your head is louder than the noise of the city you just left. It is a vast, echoing silence. You take another step, and another. The gate has closed behind you. There is no going back. Hunger is not a sudden event. It is a structure. It is a building that is constructed inside you, brick by brick, day by day. The first day is easy. You are a warrior. You are trained to endure hardship. You have fasted for spiritual purification before. You tell yourself that this is just another discipline, a test of your will. You drink water from a stream. You tighten your obi sash to compress your stomach. You feel virtuous. The second day is uncomfortable. The headache starts. A dull throbbing behind your eyes, like a drum beating a slow, steady rhythm. Your temper becomes short. The world seems too bright, too loud. By the fourth day, the architecture of hunger is complete. It is a physical presence. It feels like a small, cold animal living inside your belly. It moves. It claws at your insides. It demands to be fed. You are walking through a village at dusk. The air is filled with the most beautiful and terrible smells in the world. You smell the smoke of grilling eel, unagi, the sweet, savory scent of soy sauce and sugar caramelizing over charcoal. It hits you like a physical blow. Your mouth floods with saliva. Your stomach cramps so hard you have to stop walking and lean against a wooden post. You see a stall selling steaming bowls of soba noodles. You see the steam rising, carrying the scent of buckwheat and dashi broth. You see a laborer, a man with dirt under his fingernails and rough clothes, sitting on a bench. He is slurping the noodles loudly. Slurp, slurp. He leaves a little bit of broth in the bowl. He wipes his mouth and walks away. You stare at that leftover broth. It is just brown water. But to you, it looks like liquid gold. You imagine walking over there. You imagine lifting the bowl. You imagine the warmth of the liquid sliding down your throat, filling the hollow space inside you. But you cannot do it. You are a samurai, even a masterless one. You cannot beg. You cannot scavenge like a dog. There is a code, Bushido, the way of the warrior. It is etched into your bones. It says, a samurai does not feel hunger. A samurai uses a toothpick even when he has not eaten, to show he is satisfied. So you reach into your sleeve. You pull out a small wooden toothpick. You put it in your mouth. You stand there, leaning against the post, starving, dizzy, weak, and you pick your teeth. You pretend you have just eaten a feast. You pretend you are full. Passers-by look at you. They see the two swords. They see the toothpick. They think you are arrogant. They think you are aloof. They do not know that your knees are shaking. They do not know that the world is slashing around you in slow, gray circles. The irony is cruel. You have a weapon at your hip that is worth more than this entire village. The steel in your scabbard could buy 1,000 bowls of eel. You could draw the sword. You could walk into the shop and demand food. Who would stop you? The peasant shopkeeper? The village watchman? You could cut them down before they even blinked. You could be a bandit. You could be full. But the sword is not a tool for robbery. It is a container for your soul. If you use it to steal a bowl of noodles, you shatter the container. You spill your soul into the mud. So you choose the hunger. You choose the dizziness. You choose the cold animal in your belly. You walk away from the food stall. Your legs feel heavy, as if you are wading through deep water. The smell of the dashi fades behind you, but the memory of it stays, haunting you. You find a dry spot under the eaves of a closed temple. You sit down. You wrap your arms around your knees. You try to sleep. But hunger keeps you awake. It sharpens your senses. You hear every cricket. You hear every rustle of the leaves. You are eating your own pride. It is a dry, bitter meal, and it does not fill you up. Look at your hands. Hold them up in the dim light of the oil lamp. These are the hands of a warrior. Look at the calluses on the palms, thick pads of hardened skin formed by years of gripping the tsuka, the hilt of a sword. Look at the fingers, long, strong, dexterous. These hands were trained to tie the intricate knots of armor. They were trained to draw a bow with lethal precision. They were trained to write poetry with a brush and ink. These hands were made to take life and to create art. Now look at what they are doing. You are holding a strip of bamboo. It is thin, sharp, and cheap. You are making umbrellas. Kasahari. It is the only work allowed for a samurai who does not want to lose his caste. You cannot be a merchant. You cannot be a farmer, but you can do crafts inside your home. It is a polite fiction. It is a way to starve more slowly. The room is small. It is a 6-mat room in a tenement house, but it is piled high with raw materials, bundles of bamboo, stacks of oiled paper, pots of sticky, foul-smelling glue made from boiled fish bones or animal hide. The smell of the glue permeates everything. It is in your clothes. It is in your hair. It smells of decay. You pick up a knife. It is a small, dull tool, nothing like your katana. You begin to split the bamboo. Scrape, scrape, snap. You must shave the bamboo down until it is flexible but strong. If you shave too much, it breaks. If you shave too little, it is too heavy. You dip a brush into the glue. You paint the ribs of the umbrella frame. The glue is cold and slimy. It gets under your fingernails. You lay the paper over the frame. You smooth it down. You must be careful. No wrinkles, no tears. It is meticulous work. It requires focus. But it is boring. Gods, it is so boring. It is a boredom that eats at your brain like termites eating wood. Repetition. Endless repetition. Split. Scrape. Glue. Paste. Repeat. Your mind begins to wander. You remember the battlefield. You remember the adrenaline of the charge, the thunder of hooves, the flash of steel. The feeling of being completely, terrifyingly alive. And now? Scrape. Scrape. Snap. You are fighting a battle against bamboo ribs, and you are losing. You look at the pile of finished umbrellas in the corner. There are 10 of them. For 10 umbrellas, you will receive a few copper coins, enough to buy a bag of millet, maybe a piece of pickled radish. You calculate in your head. If you work all night, if you do not sleep, you can make 5 more. That might be enough to buy a cup of sake to numb the pain in your back. Your back aches. Not the good ache of training, but the sharp, stinging ache of hunching over a low table for hours. Your eyes burn from the smoke of the cheap oil lamp. You feel a splinter slide into your thumb. A sharp, sudden pain. You drop the bamboo. You look at the drop of blood welling up. It is bright red against the pale bamboo. You stare at it. You are a man who is trained to cut through bone. You are a man who is trained to face death without blinking. And here you are, defeated by a splinter and a pot of fish glue. The humiliation washes over you. It is hot and suffocating. You want to flip the table. You want to smash the umbrellas. You want to scream until your throat bleeds. But you don't. You can't afford to break the umbrellas. They are your life now. You wipe the blood away on a rag. You pick up the knife. You pick up the bamboo. You bow your head. The warrior is gone. There is only the craftsman. Scrape. Scrape. Snap. The night goes on. The silence of the room is broken only by the sound of your own degradation, one umbrella at a time. The castle had walls of stone 3 feet thick. It had silence. It had space. Your new home has walls made of paper. You live in a nagaya, a longhouse. It is a single, long wooden structure divided into tiny compartments, like a honeycomb for bees that produce no honey. It is located in the back alleys of the city, where the sun struggles to reach the ground because the eaves of the roofs almost touch across the narrow lane. Walk down the alley. The ground is never dry here. It is a permanent slurry of mud, dishwater, and urine. You have to step carefully on scattered stones to avoid sinking in up to your ankles. You slide open the door to your room. It is a yojohan, 4.5 tatami mats. That is the entire universe of your existence. Roughly 9 feet by 9 feet. The tatami mats are old. They are not the fresh, green, sweet-smelling mats of the castle. These are brown, frayed, and straw-colored. They smell of mold and old sweat. When you step on them, they sigh. Dust puffs up into the air. You are not alone here. The walls between you and your neighbors are thin planks of wood and layers of paper. They block sight, but they do not block sound. You know everything about the people who live next to you. To your left lives a fishmonger and his wife. You hear them wake up before dawn. You hear the wife coughing, a wet, rattling cough that never seems to end. You hear them arguing about money. You hear the clatter of their chopsticks on bowls. To your right lives a day laborer who drinks too much cheap sake. You hear him singing slurred songs late into the night. You hear him snoring, a sound that vibrates through the floorboards and into your own spine. There is no privacy. For a samurai, privacy is dignity. A samurai needs silence to meditate. He needs solitude to compose his thoughts. He needs a space where his face can relax, where he does not have to be on guard. Here, you are always exposed. You feel like an animal in a cage where the bars are invisible, but the eyes are everywhere. And then there are the other inhabitants. You are lying on your futon at night. It is thin, offering little protection from the hard floor. You feel a tickle on your leg. You slap it. A flea. The Nagaya is alive with them. Fleas, lice, bedbugs. They live in the straw of the mats. They live in the cracks of the wood. They do not care about your rank. They do not care about your swords. To them, you are just warm blood. You scratch. You cannot help it. The itch is maddening. You light a small candle to hunt them. You see them scurrying away into the shadows. You crush one between your fingernails. Pop. A tiny smear of blood. Your blood. This is your war now. Not against rival clans, but against insects. You blow out the candle to save the wax. You lie back in the darkness. The smell of the communal latrine drifts in from the end of the alley. It is a heavy ammonia stench that settles in the back of your throat. You close your eyes and try to remember the smell of incense. You try to remember the smell of pine trees in the rain. But the reality of the Nagaya is too strong. The sounds of the sleeping city press in on you. A baby cries somewhere. A dog barks. You pull your thin blanket up to your chin. You are a warrior living in a box, surrounded by the filth of the world you used to rule. Hunger has a way of bending morality until it breaks. You swore you would never serve another master. You swore you would not demean yourself. But the umbrellas do not pay enough. The rent for the Nagaya is due. The rice jar is empty. So you sell the only thing you have left. Not the sword itself, but the arm that wields it. You become a yojimbo, a bodyguard. It sounds noble. The word implies protection, but the reality is far uglier. You are hired by a silk merchant. He is a man you would have ignored in your previous life. He is fat, loud, and smells of expensive perfume that cannot mask the scent of greed. He has soft hands that have never held a weapon, only coins. He hires you because he is afraid. He has debts. Or perhaps he has competitors who wish him harm. He looks at you, not with respect, but with appraisal, like he is buying a guard dog. "Stand there," he says, pointing to the door of his shop. "Look menacing." You stand there. You cross your arms. You rest your hand on your katana. You feel the eyes of the people passing by. They see a samurai standing guard for a merchant. They know what this means. It means you are bought. It means you are a mercenary. You see a sneer on the face of a passing official. You see the disappointment in the eyes of an old man. But the work gets worse. It is night. The merchant takes you to a gambling den in the red light district. He wants to collect a debt. The air in the den is thick with smoke and the smell of stale sake. Men are shouting, throwing dice. The merchant points to a man in the corner, a desperate, thin man with wild eyes. "He owes me," the merchant says. "Get it." You walk over. The man sees you. He sees the swords. He trembles. "Please," he begs, "I need more time. My wife is sick." You look at him. You see yourself in him. Desperation. Poverty. But you have a job. If you don't do it, you don't get paid. If you don't get paid, you don't eat. You grab him by the collar. You throw him out into the street. You threaten him. You use the voice, the samurai voice, that used to command armies. Now you use it to scare a poor gambler for a few silver coins. It is not a duel. There is no honor in this violence. It is bullying. It is brute force. Later, the merchant pays you. He tosses the coins into your hand. He does not bow. He does not say thank you. He just turns away. You look at the coins. They are silver. They shine in the moonlight. They feel hot in your hand. They feel dirty. You go to a tavern. You buy the strongest sake they have. You drink it quickly, feeling the burn. You want to wash the taste of the night out of your mouth. But the taste remains. You touch the hilt of your sword. It feels cold. You wonder if the steel can feel shame. You wonder if the blade is judging you. You are a sword for hire, a weapon without a cause, a dog on a leash, barking for scraps. It starts with a spot. You are sitting in your room, cleaning your blades. It is a ritual you have performed every night since you were a boy. You dismantle the katana. You remove the wooden peg, mekugi. You slide the hilt off. You hold the bare blade up to the light. The steel should be like a mirror. It should be like a river, frozen in time. The hamon, the temper line, should ripple like a wave of mist. But there, near the tip, a tiny orange-brown speck. Rust. Your heart stops for a second. Rust is the enemy of the sword. It is the cancer of steel. In the castle, you had powder balls made of crushed uchiko stone. You had high-quality clove oil. You had soft rice paper. You could polish the blade until it sang. But uchiko powder costs money. Clove oil costs money. You have been using cheap oil. You have been using old rags. And the dampness of the nagaya, the relentless humidity of the alley, has gotten to the blade. You rub the spot frantically with your cloth. You scrub and scrub. It fades, but a tiny pit remains, a scar on the metal. You look at the rest of your gear. Your hakama, the wide trousers, was once a deep, rich indigo. Now it is faded to a pale, patchy gray. The pleats, once sharp enough to cut, are soft and undefined. The fabric is fraying at the hem, worn down by the mud of the streets. Your haori jacket is missing a tie. You have replaced it with a piece of string. Your hair. A samurai's hair is his pride. The chonmage top knot requires maintenance. The pate, the top of the head, must be shaved smooth every few days, ideally by a barber. You cannot afford a barber. You try to shave it yourself with a small razor and water, but the blade is dull. You nick your skin. You leave patches of stubble. You stop shaving it. You let the hair grow. It grows out thick and wild. It itches. It looks unkempt. You tie it back in a messy ponytail, the style of a Ronin. You look in a bucket of water to see your reflection. Who is looking back at you? The eyes are sunken, shadowed by hunger and lack of sleep. The cheeks are hollow. The skin is rough, weathered by the sun and the wind. The hair is wild, and the sword is rusting. The connection between the man and the blade is absolute. As the sword deteriorates, so does the soul. The rust on the blade is the rust on your spirit. You are forgetting the kata, the forms. Your muscles are losing their memory of the perfect cut. Your reflexes are dulling, slowed by malnutrition and alcohol. You are becoming less than what you were. You are fading. You sheathe the sword. The click of the scabbard sounds dull, not sharp. You blow out the lamp. You sit in the dark. You are terrified that one day you will try to draw the sword and it will be stuck, rusted shut, fused to the scabbard. And on that day, the samurai will be truly dead. If hunger is a sharp knife, winter is a heavy stone. It crushes you slowly. Edo does not have the clean, dry snow of the mountains. It has a wet, miserable winter. A winter of freezing rain and sleet that turns the streets into a freezing slush. You are still living in the Nagaya, or perhaps you have been evicted. Perhaps you are now sleeping under the eaves of a shrine or under the wooden pilings of the Great Bridge. The cold here is a living thing. It is humid. It seeks out moisture. It seeps through the layers of your threadbare kimono. It finds the sweat on your skin and turns it to ice. It settles in your joints, your knees, your elbows, your fingers, making them ache with a deep, throbbing pain that never stops. You try to find warmth. In the past, you sat by a hibachi, a charcoal brazier. You felt the heat radiating from the glowing red coals. You drank hot tea. Now, heat is a luxury you cannot afford. Charcoal costs money. Wood costs money. You find a spot out of the wind. You curl up into a ball, trying to preserve the small furnace of your own body heat. You tuck your hands into your armpits. You pull your knees to your chest. You are trembling. It is a violent, uncontrollable shaking. Your teeth chatter, click, 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 a sound that vibrates in your skull. To stop the shaking, you turn to the only medicine available, sake. It is the cheapest kind. Rot gut, they call it, clouded, sour, and strong. You buy a small flask with your last copper coins. You drink it cold. It burns your throat as it goes down. For a moment, it works. A false warmth spreads through your stomach. The tips of your fingers tingle. The world softens. The sharp edges of your misery blur. But alcohol is a liar. It steals the heat from your core and pushes it to your skin, where the winter wind steals it away. You feel warmer, but you are freezing faster. Then comes the new year, Oshogatsu. This is the most important time in Japan. It is a time of renewal, a time of family. You walk through the streets on New Year's Eve. You see the pine decorations, kadomatsu, placed in front of the houses. You see the ropes of rice straw. You smell the pounding of mochi rice cakes. You smell the sweet red bean soup. You hear laughter from behind the paper screens. Families are gathering. They are eating soba noodles to ensure a long life. They are drinking spiced sake. You are on the outside. The paper screens are glowing with warm orange light. You can see the silhouettes of the people inside. A father pouring a drink. A mother holding a child. You are separated from them by only a thin sheet of paper, but you might as well be on the moon. You have no family to visit. Your clan is gone. Your parents are dead or distant. You have no one to wish you a long life. Does it even matter? Do you want a long life? A long life just means more cold, more hunger, more shame. You find a corner in a dark alley, away from the celebrations. You lean your back against the rough wood of a storehouse. You listen to the temple bells ringing. Gong, 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 108 times. One ring for each of the worldly desires that trap us in suffering. Greed, anger, envy, pride. You count the rings. With each toll, you try to let go of something. You let go of the anger at your former lord. You let go of the envy of the families inside the warm houses. You let go of the pride of the samurai. The bell stops ringing. The silence returns. You are colder than you have ever been, but you are also lighter. The winter has stripped you down to the bone. There is a fate worse than being hated. It is being ignored. In your early days as a Ronin, people looked at you. They looked with pity, or fear, or disdain, but they looked. You were still a presence. You were still a dangerous man with a sword. Now you are part of the scenery. Your clothes are so faded they match the gray of the mud and the gray of the walls. Your hair is a tangled mess that hides your face. You sit still for hours, barely breathing. You have become a ghost before you have even died. Walk through the market. A woman bumps into you. She does not apologize. She does not gasp in fear. She simply adjusts her basket and keeps walking, as if she bumped into a wooden post. A stray dog trots past you. It sniffs your leg. It does not wag its tail. It does not growl. It recognizes a fellow creature of the street. It trots on. You go to a tea house. You have a few coins today, enough for a cup of tea and a rice ball. You sit on the edge of the veranda. You wait. The server walks past you. She serves the merchant. She serves the traveler. She serves the laborer. She does not serve you. You raise your hand. "Excuse me," you say. Your voice is raspy from disuse. It sounds like dry leaves scraping together. She looks at you. Her eyes slide over you. There is no recognition of your humanity. "We are out of rice," she says flatly, even though you can see the steaming pot right behind her. She is not afraid of your swords anymore. She knows the rust has taken them. She knows the spirit has left them. She knows you will not draw them. To draw a sword requires will, and you have none left. You do not argue. You do not shout. You simply stand up. You walk away. This is the final death of the ego. The samurai you, the man of pride, of lineage, of honor, is dead. What is left is just a body, a vessel that breathes and walks. You drift to the riverbank. You watch the water flowing toward the sea. The Sumida River is dark and deep. It carries the trash of the city, the petals of cherry blossoms, the ashes of the dead. You realize you are just like the river debris, floating, aimless. You meet other Ronin sometimes. You see them under the bridges. You do not speak to each other. You do not exchange war stories. You look at each other's eyes, and you see the same emptiness. You are mirrors reflecting the void. There is a strange comfort in this invisibility. If no one sees you, you do not have to pretend anymore. You do not have to hold your head up. You do not have to walk with the stride of a warrior. You can slump. You can limp. You can weep. And no one cares. You are free from the expectations of society. You have fallen so far down the ladder that you have hit the ground and found that the ground is solid. You are the invisible man, the phantom of Edo. The seasons turn one last time. It is autumn now. The leaves of the maple trees are turning red and gold. They are beautiful in their dying. They let go of the branch without struggle, drifting gently to the earth to become soil. You are tired. It is a deep tiredness that sleep cannot fix. It is a tiredness of the soul. You are walking on a country road, far from the city. You left Edo days ago. Why? You don't know. Perhaps the city was too loud. Perhaps you just wanted to see the mountains one last time. Your legs are heavy. Your breath comes in shallow rasps. You stop by a large pine tree. The roots create a natural cradle, lined with soft moss. It looks inviting. You sit down. You lean your back against the rough bark. You unfasten your obi. You take the swords from your waist. The katana, the wakizashi. You hold them in your lap. The lacquer on the scabbards is chipped. The silk wrapping on the hilts is frayed and stained. They are old. They are tired, just like you. You think about the pawnbroker. You could have sold them. You could have bought a warm meal, a soft bed, but you didn't. Through all the hunger, through all the cold, through all the shame, you kept them. You kept them because they were the only proof that you existed. But now, the proof is no longer needed. You place them on the ground beside you. You arrange them neatly, side by side. You are not abandoning them. You are releasing them. You close your eyes. The wind blows through the pine needles. It sounds like the ocean. It sounds like the waves you were named after, Ronin, the wave returning to the sea. You feel the cold seeping into your legs, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It feels numbing. It feels like a heavy blanket being pulled up over your chest. You remember the rain on the day you left the castle. You remember the smell of the eel you never ate. You remember the sound of the umbrella paper tearing. These memories drift by like clouds. They do not hold on to you. You let them go. There is no pain. There is no regret. There is only the quiet. The concept of mono no aware, the pathos of things, the beauty of transience. Your life was a falling leaf. It had its season of green, its season of glory. And now it has its season of falling. It is natural. It is right. Your breathing slows. The beat of your heart becomes faint, a distant drum marching away into the mist. The world fades to gray, then to black, then to nothing. You are not a samurai. You are not a Ronin. You are not a masterless man. You are simply gone. And the wind continues to blow, scattering the red leaves over the place where you sleep, burying the swords and the man together in the kindness of the earth. Sleep.